The following is a live broadcast for the City of Kingsport Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Board meetings are regularly scheduled on the first and third Tuesdays of each month at 7 p.m. In advance of the BMA meeting, a copy of the agenda is available for inspection in the Public Library, City Hall, or online at kingsporttn.gov.
Good evening. Welcome to the Kingsport Board of Mayor and Aldermen's business meeting. The business meeting is where we vote. The day is Tuesday, July 19th. The first order of business will be pledge allegiance to the flag. I'll lead the group, and followed by the invocation, so please remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our pastor had something happen tonight, therefore Alderman Darrell Duncan is going to lead us in prayer.
Let's bow our heads, please. Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight. We thank you for the wonderful city that we call Kingsport and a place to live that we love and cherish. Watch over us and care for us and be with our first responders as they protect us each and every day. Be with us. In your name, amen.
Please be seated. Madam Recorder, please call the roll.
Mayor Scholl,
Here.
Vice Mayor George,
Here.
Alderman Cooper,
Here.
Alderman Duncan,
Here.
Alderman Montgomery,
Here.
Alderman Alderman,
Here.
Thank you. 6 members are present, 1 member is absent. Alderman Phillips is at a national conference of home builders representing Kingsport, so I think that's a good reason to be absent. And I have one kind of an administrative remark. Normally, you would see us up here, the men dressed in coat and tie or a suit, and our female members of the board would be dressed appropriately also.
This is appropriate for tonight.
I'm explaining it. So we have the utmost respect for our citizens and for the mission of the city and the duties that we're entrusted with. But we always make an exception for Fun Fest. You know, this is a special week of community unity, so we're wearing our Fun Fest shirts. So, you know, I'm retired from the Army. We used to say, you know, you will have fun. But, okay, Mr. City Manager.
All right, we have 2 recognitions on the agenda tonight, and then the third one that the mayor will address here shortly. The first one is a recognition of Deep Bruce Shine, and I ask Mayor Scholl and Representative Bud Halsey if they would please go to the podium to deliver this, and Ms. Shine, if you would please join them.
It's my honor to be part of this, Ms. Shine, and as I said out there, Senator Lundberg wanted to be here and could not, and asked me to make sure you understood he would have certainly been here had he been able to. He's in Nashville. I knew Bruce for many years in law enforcement and was in his office several times. I've got to tell you, I'm not going to read this whole resolution, but it lists some of the accolades that he achieved, and it lists his leadership. And he wasn't just a leader in this community, he was a leader around the country. What I always enjoyed talking to him about was when he took a position on anything, it was very, very interesting because he was always analytical and his thought process always made sense. And so I always felt he always knew a whole lot more than I did, and I admire him for that a great deal. So I just want you to know it's an honor for me to present to you this resolution passed in the House and the Senate in honor of your husband, Bruce Shine.
for myself and my children, and I know that Bruce would too.
Yes, indeed. Yes, ma'am. Wow.
And Miss Betsy, all I would add is that first, Bruce was always very cordial with me, and I appreciate that. And he was a strong contributor to our community in a number of ways. He served on two city councils, the Senior Citizen Advisory Council and the Cultural Arts Council, but he was just, again, a great citizen in so many ways, and he's missed. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
This
And
is an
thank you
honor.
for coming.
This is quite an honor. Thank you.
Well, he deserves it.
God bless you.
You too.
Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to ask Neil Brown if he would come up for this month's Keep Kingsport Beautiful Beautification Awards. Neil?
Thank you very much. And Sharon cannot make it tonight. She's a little under the weather, so keep her in your thoughts for sure. All right. So July, we're in the middle of summer now. I've got a couple more months of this for this season and a couple more chances for folks that may not have gotten an award yet to do so. Let's see if this is working. All right. First, we have the home of Joel and Judy Hooker on Steeplechase Drive. This yard features beautiful flowers, including daylilies, roses, irises, daisies, and ferns, as well as a large shade tree. White rocks line the flower beds. This property is well maintained and very welcoming. Next, we have the home of Rick and Jen Cox on Hillshire Lane. The beautification judge notes that this home stands out in the neighborhood with its well-edged lawn and nicely planted flower beds next to a cascading brick wall. Flowers include carpet roses, Russian sage, and nandina. Potted red geraniums add a pop of color. Pink coneflowers greet you at the mailbox, and a nicely shaped dogwood tree is in the front yard. On these next two slides, we have the home of Mike, Mary, and Amanda Sloan on Chancery Lane. This beautifully landscaped home sits on a cul-de-sac and features shrubbery accented with daisies, lilies, and a few pots of red geraniums. The yard features a hillside planting of shrubbery surrounded by stone blocks. And there we go again. Oh, that's neat. Next, we have the home of Martha Jane Jones on East Ravine Road. This property features a wide variety of colorful plantings. Miss Jones not only has beautified her own yard, but she's also helped add beauty through her neighbors' yards with flowers, which is very nice. The next couple of slides, we have the home of Jewel McKinney and Wayne Porter on Wellington Boulevard. This property features tons of beautiful and colorful impatiens, red and white geraniums, and pink angel wing begonias. A tall fountain with flowing water welcomes visitors as they approach the front door, and colorful flowers line the walkway. Here's another picture, I believe. Yeah. Well done. And for this month, I don't think we have our Business and Redevelopment Awards, but we do have a winner for Place of Worship. So the church this month that has won is First Assembly of God on 2213 Brandon Lane. This church has a well-maintained lawn featuring nicely manicured shrubbery. And that is it for July. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Can we get the award recipients to stand up, the ones that are here? Thank you. The board really appreciates your efforts to make Kingsport that much more beautiful. Thank you.
Sharon Hayes is a little under the weather tonight, too. I talked to her earlier.
Okay.
Mayor?
All right. Ms. Hannah, could you join me at the podium? Well, Anna, you've been Miss Kingsport for all of about, what, 48 hours?
Just about.
Yeah, on Sunday, she received her crown along with Maddie Ratliff, who is Miss Sullivan County. Anna's last name, let me see if I get this right. You can correct me. Constantinopolis.
Very close, Constantopoulos.
Constantopoulos. There you go. You're of Greek heritage then, right?
Yes, my grandfather's Greek.
Okay. Well, it was a great competition. My wife Mary and I went, and there were a lot of really sharp young ladies, weren't there?
Absolutely.
And Anna is a graduate of Milligan College, and you're continuing your studies, graduate program in religious studies, right?
Yes, I'm getting my master's in religion at Emmanuel Christian Seminary.
Yeah. What's your ultimate career aim?
I want to be a professor of theology, so after this I have even more school to get my PhD.
Okay, we should have asked you to do the prayer.
I would have been happy to. Next time.
Well, we really appreciate that you came tonight. But, no offense, Daryl. But we appreciate you coming tonight, and I know you're going to be busy. She emailed me right away and gave her email address so we can contact her and tell her lots of things are going on in the city, and I know you'll just do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It. Thank you.
All right.
When is the Miss Tennessee pageant? When do you?
We don't know for sure yet, but it should be sometime next June.
Okay.
Mr. City Manager, please proceed.
Okay, we have appointments to two boards tonight. We discussed last night of taking those with one resolution. The first one is to appoint Luke Brogdon to the Kingsport Public Library Commission, replacing Dr. Dorothy Dobbins, whose term who has reached her term limit. And then the second one is appointments to the Park and Recreation Advisory Board. It's recommended to reappoint Brad Hoover, Bob Jack, and Pam Mahaffey. We would ask that you approve these appointments to the Park and Rec Advisory Board and the Library Commission, please.
Thank you. As stated by the city manager, these are two different boards, and do I hear a motion to approve? Moved by the vice mayor, seconded by Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0 when absent. Please continue.
Next item is approval of minutes from the work session on June 20th, 2022, the business meeting on June 21st, 2022, and the called business meeting on July 8th, 2022. We'd ask that you approve these minutes as submitted, please.
Thank you. And we'll act on an item that we discussed during the called meeting later on in this meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve these three sets of minutes? Thank you. Alderman Montgomery moves all three sets. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All three pass. Mr. City Manager, I see we have no public hearings. We've reached the point in our proceedings where citizens may come forward to speak on agenda items. Agenda item are one of the items that we're acting on tonight. There's a portion of our proceedings later on where you can come to the podium and speak to the board about items of general civic interest. But right now, if you do wish to speak, you limit your remarks to an item that's on the agenda. But when you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. A total of 30 minutes is allocated for public comment during this part of the agenda. Are there any citizens that wish to come forward to speak to an agenda item? If not, I declare this part of our proceedings to be concluded. Mr. City Manager, please proceed.
All right, your first item is consideration of an ordinance to amend the fiscal 23 general purpose school fund and the general project fund budgets. This is an item that comes to us from the Board of Education. It's set aside necessary funding to make security improvements throughout the district, as well as video upgrades to the Tennessee room for the Board of Education meetings. So we'd ask that you approve this ordinance on first reading.
Thank you. I noted there was an informative article in the Times News about this. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the general purpose school fund and general project fund budgets for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Duncan. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for various funds in fiscal '22. Much of this has to do with transferring and/or closing out projects. You see those listed there within the general fund, within the public transit fund, as well as the solid waste fund. We'd ask that you approve this ordinance on first reading.
Thank you. I guess, Mr. City Manager, ought to remind our audience that prior to holding our business meeting, each board member meets individually with the city manager to go over these items. Then after that session, we meet together in a work session. We can't vote at a work session, but we can go over these items in as much detail as we need to make sure everybody understands the items. So if it looks like we're going this kind of quickly, it's because we're very familiar with what we're voting on. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the various fund budgets for the year ending June 30th, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Moved by Alderman Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for various funds in fiscal '23. Some of this has to do with transferring of dollars to various projects, receiving dollars for projects that you see from the Tennessee Art Commission, as well as increasing the stormwater fund budget, and to accept a Justice Assistance Grant, or the JAG grant as we call it, which you have an item on later in the agenda. So we'd ask that you approve this item on first reading.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend various fund budgets for the year ending June 30th, 2023, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
Next item is a resolution to opt in to the extended hours for the sale of alcohol beverages and beer. As we discussed last night, this resolution pertains to a couple of items. One, it recognizes an October 2nd, 2001 Board of Mayor and Alderman resolution that chose to opt out of the option that would have allowed for beer to be sold before noon, actually at 10 a.m. on Sundays. At that time, the board made a decision to stay where they were for the city of Kingsport, which would allow beer sales to begin at noon. Since that time, the state of Tennessee has approved the sale of wine within grocery stores, and they've also come back most recently and made some changes that would allow the sale of wine to begin at 10 a.m. So what we have in our many of our stores within the city of Kingsport is on a Sunday the ability to buy wine at 10 o'clock but not be able to buy beer until after 12. So after much discussion and a lot of feedback from the community, the Beverage Board is making a recommendation to you all, and it's really in two parts. One is the resolution to opt in, and then the second one, which will be the next item, which will be an ordinance that would allow for us to make that change to align beer sales with wine sales within stores within the city of Kingsport. This allows a tremendous amount of consistency. It reduces a tremendous amount of confusion for the sales associates as well as our citizens. And so as a result, we would ask that this resolution be approved.
And it's comparable with what the other surrounding municipalities do.
That is correct. This is very comparable with what we see within Northeast Tennessee.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution to opt in and adopt the extended hours for the sale of alcoholic beverages and beer within the city of Kingsport, Tennessee.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Moved by Alderman Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Thank you. Were you an aye?
Yeah.
Opposed? Thank you. It's a 5-1-1 vote, and Mr. City Manager, please proceed.
Yeah, the next item is in consideration of an ordinance to amend Section 6-218 of the City Code to change the hours of beer sales. This ties back into the resolution that I just discussed. Approval of this ordinance after our second reading on August 2nd would allow beer sales to be permitted beginning at 10 a.m. on Sundays. So we'd ask that you approve this ordinance on first reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 6, Article 3, Section 218 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Kingsport, Tennessee, relating to the hours of operation of beer sales and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes 5-1-1. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we have 4 items that are up for second and final reading, the first of which is consideration of an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance. We'd ask that you approve this item on second reading.
Thank you. And I remind our audience that a roll call vote is required to pass an ordinance on the second reading. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to further amend the zoning code, text, and map to rezone property located along Fieldcrest Road from County A1 General Agricultural District to PD Planned Development District, R3 Low Density Apartment District, R5 High Density Apartment District, and B1 Neighborhood Business District in the 7th Civil District of Sullivan County to fix a penalty for the violation of this ordinance and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second? Second. Second by Alderman Duncan. Is there any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper,
Abstain.
Alderman Duncan,
Aye.
Vice Mayor George,
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery, Alderman Alderman,
Aye.
Mayor Schall.
Aye. The item passes with 5 votes, 1 abstention, and 1 absent. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for various funds in fiscal '22. We'd ask that you approve this ordinance on second and final reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend various fund budgets for the year ending June 30th, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Before I ask to put it on the floor, we've talked about this in the past, Mr. City Manager, but it's normal, it's routine that we constantly do budget adjustments, not only at the end of the year, but throughout the year.
It is. It's very common. You'll see a lot of what you've seen tonight, a lot of moving of dollars. So as a project nears an end, we'll move those dollars over to another project. We'll also see revenue coming in forms of grants that needs to be adjusted, or dollars, as in this case, that are coming in through the American Rescue Plan Act that are being reallocated towards projects that were agreed upon through the budget process.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Montgomery. Any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper,
Aye.
Alderman Duncan,
Aye.
Vice Mayor George,
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery, Alderman Alterman,
Aye.
Mayor Schall.
Aye, it passes with 6 affirmative votes. Next item.
Next item is consideration of an ordinance to amend the water fund budget for the fiscal year beginning July 2022 and ending June 30, 2023. This came as a result of your called meeting on July 8th. It comes to you as set for second and final reading. We'd ask that you approve the ordinance, please.
And we had a lot of discussion during that called meeting that summarizes that this is a citizen-friendly action.
Yeah, this is very much a customer service issue as we work through the replacement of the water meters. It allows the new water and sewer rates, which is on your next item, to take effect on August 1 instead of July 1 with the passage of the budget.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance of the City of Kingsport, Tennessee to amend the water budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2023 to delay the implementation of the new water rate until August 1st, 2022 and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Duncan, seconded by Alderman Montgomery.
No, I made the motion, she seconded by
Okay. We'll say Alderman Montgomery moved the item and it was seconded by the vice mayor. Got to be fast, I guess. Okay, it's on the floor for any discussion. If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman. Mayor Schol.
Aye, it passes 6-0 with one absent. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of an ordinance to amend the sewer fund budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending June 30, 2023. As discussed, this has to do with the sewer fund and the new rates for our sewer system, which would now take effect on August 1st. We'd ask that you approve this ordinance on second and final reading, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance of the City of Kingsport, Tennessee, to amend the sewer fund budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022, and ending June 30th, 2023, to delay the implementation of the new sewer rate until August 1st, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? Of course, this fits in with what we did with the previous item. If no further discussion, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper.
Aye.
Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Mayor Schol.
Aye, it passes 6-0 with one absent. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for the Employee Fiscal Wellness Program, and I'll ask Ryan McReynolds to walk you through that.
Yeah, so this has been a relationship we've had that has been very successful, very popular with our employees over the past few years, where it's preventative wellness. And since we're self-insured, and of course, we also cover our workers' comp claims, this was an initiative that was brought about to, one, understand from the exercise physiology side of the shop, the different tasks our employees are asked to do, whether they're repetitive in nature, whether they're at a desk, whether in the field, even emergency services as far as like quick reactions, and then to go around those individuals and to work with them to prepare their bodies to be able to do the work that we're doing, again, at desks, in the field, or wherever. So the group has gotten to know our workforce, our functions very well, and have assisted in preparing our workforce very well. It's been well received within the workforce, one, because they see that not only are they not being injured, but then they're able to enjoy activities outside of work when they retire with a full ability. And so we would recommend moving into this next year a relationship with MedFit. Again, it's the preventative maintenance, the wellness program. I'm here to answer any questions if you've got it. I will mention one reason it's kind of odd that you would have me presenting, but with my group spearheaded this over the last few years, and it's been a team effort among the different departments, and we're transitioning it with HR, Michael and Tyra coming in, because this is definitely an HR function. So they are going to provide oversight of this activity this coming year. I think it's been within their realm, probably 2-month period at most, 2 or 3 months. So they have worked very hard to present the document that you see tonight.
Thank you. Board, any questions or comments for the Deputy City Manager?
How long have we been, have a contract with them? I mean, has it been?
5, 7 years? 7 years.
Anything? Well, I'm pretty excited about the program, and I know Ms. Copus, our HR department director, will track this, because I'd like to see, how we're doing on this. I think it's got the potential to yield some real benefit to our employees and to our citizens by the employees being able to be at work.
You got it.
Yeah, I see. Did you want to introduce?
Yes, MedFit is head by Stan Johnson, who is here. He's been a partner with us throughout this whole process.
Okay, thank you for coming. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution Authorizing an agreement with MedFit LLC for employee physical wellness services and authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement for the same and all documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Montgomery. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a resolution to renew the MOU with Camelot Care Centers, Inc. for Kingsport City Schools and authorizing the mayor to sign all applicable documents. This is an item that comes to us from Kingsport City Schools and once again providing behavioral health and counseling services throughout the district. We'd ask that you approve this resolution, please.
Thank you. And of course, we have citizens that come to live in Kingsport throughout the year that haven't been here before. And succinctly, our school board's elected separately. Before an item like this comes to us, they've already considered it and voted on it. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving a memorandum of understanding with Camelot Care Centers, Inc. for behavioral health and counseling services for Kingsport City Schools and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the memorandum of understanding.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Alderman Duncan, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a resolution to execute an agreement with Frontier Health for counseling services for Kingsport City Schools and authorizing the mayor to sign all applicable documents. This provides a variety of services through Frontier Health throughout the Kingsport City School District, and we'd ask that you approve this resolution, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving an agreement with Frontier Health to provide counseling services for Kingsport City Schools and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman. Is there a second? Second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion?
I'm going to abstain from this one because I'm on the board.
Okay, thank you. Any other further discussion or comment? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Therefore, we have a 5-1-1, 5 affirmative, 1 absent, 1 abstain. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a resolution to approve Addendum 8 to the ESS South Central LLC substitute staffing services contract for Kingsport City Schools and authorizing the mayor to sign all applicable documents. This has to do with the hiring of substitute teachers. It's been a program that's been in place for a few years. We'd ask that you approve this resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving an amendment to the substitute staffing services agreement with ESS South Central LLC for Kingsport City Schools and authorizing the mayor to execute the amendment and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the amendment.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a resolution to award the bid to Pavewell Paving Company for 2022 contracted paving area 28A, and authorizing the mayor to sign all applicable documents. I've asked Ryan to come up and walk through a presentation regarding not only this item, but also to talk a little bit about our sustainable paving program. Is that Ryan?
Yeah, so we're excited that y'all are considering this contract with Pavewell, but it gives us also an opportunity, one, to kind of recenter ourselves about the Pave Kingsport, the sustainable program, and then also it's a great message for the community to see as well. So really, going back, this is the program as a whole, not necessarily the issue you're looking at. The real problem was we didn't have a sustainable funding source for paving. If you look at the amounts dedicated to paving between, and it is similar to this before 2010 as well, we kept falling further and further behind. So the number one item that needed to be done was obtaining a sustainable funding source, which came with the AP franchise fee, and that allowed us in that 2018 to begin dedicating more funding toward resurfacing. So we moved from a 50 to 55-year plus repaving cycle, which that's probably being generous, to our goal right now is 20 to 25 years and data-driven. And when I say data-driven, we're able to, once the board had acted on this funding source, then the ball kind of came back onto our court as staff as to, well, then how do you go about providing a plan that every citizen desires that their road get paved first? And so through data management, we have provided a transparent assessment, and that's through this van you see that picks up, it's like a radar, it's called LiDAR information, and it ranks every road segment from what's called a pavement condition index. So every road segment that we own within the city of Kingsport has a number associated with it. Well, once you get that number, then you've got to figure out what to do with it. And I'll show you our approach in a minute. But I do want to show you up top that 2016. This is just to give you an idea of the information we would receive. The area above is definitely indicative of an area that needs repaving. The red shows up. It had very low scoring pavement segments. The area down below was Rock Springs, which had been recently paved in 2016. So it was, it scored very well. And that allowed us to visually be able to begin putting a plan together. So the program outcomes is being able to provide a data-driven resurfacing with the goals that we have, that 20 to 25 year, but our real goal is to keep a PCI of 70. Basically, if you have a road with a PCI of 70, it drives well. People are happy. So the goal is to keep the citizens happy. In 2016, our overall city PCI was 60.65. In 2021, it rose to 67.88. So we were happy. We were shooting for 5 points. We got 7.8. So we feel like we're making a pretty good progress. The chart below, what you see are the rows that are indicative of good roads grew, which is great. The rows that are indicative of very poor roads reduced in percentages, which is good information as well. So the way we had structured the program in 2016 shows that we made progress. The other thing this provides is a transparent. Any citizen is more than welcome to come meet with us, and we can walk through the whole program, and we can look at the data that's related to their roads and their neighborhoods. So once you've got that data, as I mentioned, how do we go about putting a program together that's in the best interest of all citizens? So we go a three-pronged approach. One is heavily traveled roads, and one reason we pulled it out separately is they'll fail much quicker. But there's also other funding opportunities. TDOT and the federal highway will allow us to use their money to pave the main roads. And main roads cost a lot more. They're wider, and they have to be paved more often. The downside is when you begin accepting that money, it takes much longer to implement the plan. I think it was the mayor's first or second board meeting that we approved a set of main road paving that we still have not paved because it's still in that process of being designed and approved through, we say TDOT, but really the burdensome side of it is the FHWA, when you
Federal Highway
the federal
Administration.
highway. When you get into that, then it becomes much more burdensome. So heavy roads. The others are roads that are just in very poor condition, and that's what we're going to talk about today as well. And then the largest is the neighborhoods. And what we did is we broke the city up into almost 40 different areas. And we said, well, let us determine which areas had the lowest PCI and let that direct our attention. So that's how we accomplished the first 4 years and 5 years, and that's what we're doing this year as well. So the main roads, lowest scoring, and then the neighborhoods. And the neighborhoods are kind of the base of the whole program. We also use this gets down into kind of the details. We use not just repaving, but we also put products on freshly paved roads to extend their life at about year 2, 3, and 4. And that extends their life. Public Works directors years from now will be very happy with us, and the citizens will be, because that takes that asset and keeps it living much longer. Another benefit, is that we're doing all-inclusive. So the fact that we know where we're going next year and the year after, we're able to tell the utility companies and give an expectation of fix everything that you know needs to be fixed before we come in there, so we don't cut the roads or minimize the risk of that. So it's an all-inclusive. Our utilities and external utilities get work orders that show where we will be in years to come. So the original map, red is bad, green is great. And so, and that's not to say every road in those areas are great. It's just their PCI score was higher. So that was 2016. And then if you move to 2021, which we redid the roads this last fall, you can see that we made a lot of progress in those red areas. In fact, in 2 weeks, that last red area in Eastern Lynn Garden will be green. I think we're tracking to finish it in 2 weeks. What this does is it allows us then to prioritize the next neighborhoods. And what you all are looking at, so the Eastern Lynn Garden, of course, it's moving forward. It'll be done in 2 weeks. But what you all are looking at tonight is the first section of Area 28. So once we got the money in July, we put out a section of Area 28 to get done this fall. The rest of Area 28, which is Stratford, Skyland, Thornton, and the roads along Fort Henry, will be done in the spring with the remainder of the money.
But Ryan, let's say that again. You're breaking it up into 2 iterations, the first one this fall, and then the second one this spring, which means that entire area will then been paved.
That's right. It's interesting. As a city, we live from July to June. That's our fiscal years. But the work we get done is on a calendar year.
Yeah.
So we got money in July. We pushed this out, and then we'll come back, because we can't actually get it all paved this fall.
Right.
It's just not practical. And then we'll come back in the spring and pave the rest.
So just because of weather, I mean, you stop.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah, there's a push point. Even with this smaller area, we had pushback from a little bit from the pavers. We got 3 good bids, but that date that we put scares them. And one thing we don't want to do is put too much out there where a scared contractor ends up with a higher price. So we're trying to manage effective, efficient delivery as well. So the area that you all are going to be considering are those roads that interact with Fort Henry as part of 28. Again, Stratford, Skyland, Thornton, those will begin in the spring. After Area 28, we're moving into Area 17, which by name is kind of the Fair Acres, Tellico Hills area. And then after that, we move into Area 29, which is the western Cooks Valley up against the lake area. And then Area 14, which is radial streets into Gibsontown, Nelsontown. And so those are our priority neighborhoods until we do another assessment. One thing I wanted to show you is there's a third prong, the worst first. The streets that rank at the very lowest, they have to be addressed. So we also had to have a defendable approach to those as well, because those will be addressed over a 5-year time. So what we looked at is the road segments, keeping these area neighborhoods intact, but who has the worst road segments? And then that provides us a plan as to where we're going. We're able to accomplish about 2 miles, that's our goal a year, of these type of roads. One reason is they require a lot more fixing of what's underneath. It's not just repaving. You have to do a lot of fixing. This is almost like triage before you come back with the neighborhood. So through that, we prioritize the areas that we're going to attack, the segments. And I will run through some of those. So the group 1, which again, we have fiscal years and calendar years, so I'm just going to say this is our first effort. The very first areas are the Riverview area, the Borden area, and some of the Ridgefields area. Now again, and I'll show you in a minute, I'm talking about the segments, not the whole area. This isn't neighborhood paving, this is addressing the worst segments.
Right.
And then Orbank, kind of the eastern side of Orbank. And so we've broken all these different areas up over a four grouping section that contains roughly 2 to 2.5 miles a pop. And our desire is to work through those kind of in a yearly fashion as well. But to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, and that doesn't really show up well up there. Hopefully it shows up better on the TV. But Area 19 is the Riverview area. The segments that are in the worst shape are the Dunbar Street segment from Martin Luther King to Carver. So we're not doing the whole neighborhood, that's the neighborhood program, but we're taking
Right.
care of that worst street.
Right.
And we're approaching it because the data says it's in the lowest section of the PCI, the Pavement Condition Index. Another success story is last time we did this, what we attacked were streets that scored from 0 to 20. This go around, we're going from 0 to 30. So we don't see any of those that were at the very low level. But so we're moving from that section over to the Ridgefields. And again, the Ridgefields is a very large section, but the only street that scored presently is that Bradbury Street, that little segment. So it's just the segment is what I wanted to point out. Borden area is the same. There's segments within it that will be addressed. And then Western Orbank on out to Old Allen is the same. They actually have a few more segments than most that score in that area. So I kind of wanted to give there's always the question of where we're going as neighborhoods, but then also what streets will we be addressing as well. And we've got both those planned.
Well, as you pointed out, that you're ready to explain this to people from specific neighborhoods, and your staff constantly goes over this with folks. You have some cases where if someone reports a pothole or maybe a large truck damaged a curb or something like that, y'all respond to that fairly quickly.
Yeah, the best way, and Connect Kingsport, the app is
The app
the
on the
really
phone.
best way. You bypass the ability I have to forget. If you tell me, you go straight into a work order. So no, this doesn't deal. We're always doing the potholes, and there are times that streets will fail quickly that didn't show up in a PCI that we got to address for whatever reason, and those will be dealt with as well. Just emergency situations that's always going to have to be dealt with as well.
Right. Board, do you have any questions or comments for Mr. McReynolds?
Now, I know there's a lot of citizens comment about the condition of their roads, but when you think about it, like, I know where I travel just in a small radius around my house. So if those roads are in good shape, my opinion is all the roads in Kingsport, are. But if you travel a road that's in poor shape all the time, then you have a very different opinion. So I think it's, where like I go to the same grocery store and I go to the same everything, so I'm traveling the exact same roads all the time.
Yes.
So like the Lynn Garden area, I don't travel that direction, so I don't see all the success stories there. I just see what, my blinders are on with what
And I really believe, and I appreciate, I believe now that we have spent a lot of time in an area, the data drove us to that area, but now that we're kind of jumping into different areas, I do think more people will see kind of what the program is able to produce.
That's a great point. Kingsport's geographical footprint is 53 square miles, which is quite a large area considering our population, so.
Sullivan Street was one of my thoroughfares, and so when you all paved that, I thought, everything in Kingsport's in good shape again.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think with COVID, people got more accustomed to a smaller radius of travel, and now that people are back out doing things like Fun Fest, they're on other roads as well, and they're getting more of a view of the city as a whole.
Anything else for?
Two comments, Mayor. if I
Yeah, go
may.
ahead.
First, Ryan's presentation, as well as other information pertaining to paving in Kingsport, is on the pavekingsport.com website. So encourage folks to check that out. I also want to thank this board and really the previous board as well to sticking with the data-driven approach that we have taken. We know from a staff level that's difficult, but it is proving to be very beneficial, and we are beginning to see very positive results as a result of dedicating those dollars towards this program.
I'm glad you brought that up, because if we did anything other than worst first, the approach that Mr. McReynolds described, we'd be accused of favoritism. But, worst first is what makes the most sense. Okay, anything else?
Well, I think before 2016, it was you were reacting to things. Now you're being proactive. So I think it's changed the way you view.
You're exactly right. And that, it's really the board that stepped forward with that funding that allowed it. If we still had that same funding, we'd be in a
Just be
mess.
reacting again to just the.
Had an email today from a citizen unhappy about paving, and Ryan provided an excellent response, and the good news is that within 9 months, his street is going to get repaved. So, Mr. Attorney, please publish.
Contracted paving, Area 28A project to Pavewell Paving Company and authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement for the same and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the vice mayor. Is there a second? Second. Second by Alderman. Any discussion? We've had a lot of discussion. If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, move into the consent agenda. We have 11 items on the agenda. I'll read through each one of those. If you'd like one pulled for further discussion, please let me know. First is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with the Tri-Cities United for use of Eastman Park at Horse Creek. Second item is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with Tri-Cities United for concession rights at Eastman Park at Horse Creek. Third item is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute all documents necessary and proper to apply for and receive a grant for $26,137 from the Department of Justice Fiscal 22 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program. Item 4 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a signatory authority form allowing the chief of police or his designee to electronically complete the grant application, acceptance, and grant reports as required by the U.S. Department of Justice for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, JAG Fiscal 22. Fifth item is a resolution authorizing the Kingsport City Attorney to execute and file applications and necessary documents for federal assistance on behalf of the City of Kingsport. Item 6 is a resolution to approve the Area Agency on Aging and Disability Grant for Fiscal 22. Item 7 is a resolution to approve the West End Foundation Grant and ratify the mayor's signature. Item 8 is a resolution to combine the Carousel Division part-time position and a Cultural Arts part-time position to one full-time position. Item 9 is a resolution to approve an agreement between the Bays Mountain Park Association and the City of Kingsport for event registration and ticket sales through Civic Rec. Item 10 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with the Kingsport Tribe Youth Football and Cheer for the use of facilities and to approve a one-time appropriation. And item 11 is a resolution to accept an in-kind donation of services from EnviroGoat LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute an amendment to the current agreement for the same. And my guess is that'll be the one item y'all talk about more than anything tonight, so.
Would you like to elaborate on number 11?
I would. We as you all know, we have utilized a service within the region that provides us with goats to eat kudzu, which they love dearly, on Cement Hill. And it has proven to be highly effective in our overall vegetation management plan.
Plus, they're cute.
They're cute.
And they're
but-
cute.
But don't try petting them.
Yeah, please stay away. So we'd ask that you approve these 11 items as presented, Mayor.
Thank you. Board, are there any members that wish to pull one or more items for a separate discussion and vote? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented by the city manager.
Thank you. The consent agenda has been moved by the vice mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Alderman. Is there any discussion? Under our rules, we're required to take a roll call vote on the consent agenda. Please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper,
Aye to all.
Alderman Duncan,
Aye to all.
Vice Mayor George,
Aye to all.
Alderman Montgomery,
Aye to all.
Alderman Alterman,
Aye to all.
Mayor Shaw.
Aye to all items, therefore all 11 items pass 6-0 unanimously. Mr. City Manager.
Two items I want to bring up tonight. First, I want to thank Michael Borders and Ryan McReynolds. You had two items on the agenda tonight that dealt with youth sports. And we see a lot of those items as part of our mission within the city of Kingsport through Parks and Recreation. These two are a little different from the standpoint there's been a lot of work going into an initiative that we have called Tribe Sports. It's a goal to align Kingsport City Schools, Park and Rec, and Club Ball within our city. One of the items tonight dealt with tribe football, a lot of work that has been done there by Michael to bring some groups together within our city and to utilize facilities that the city owns. Second item dealing with soccer is an annual agreement we have, this time a little different. We've asked them to place a greater emphasis on youth soccer and really pleased with the results. This was a vision and a goal I had 3 years ago becoming city manager. These guys have helped me bring this to light, and a lot of work still to come, but major accomplishments with this. So good job, guys, and appreciate the work you did. Fun Fest, we've talked a lot about that already. There's a lot that goes into Fun Fest. We'll talk as the week winds up of the Fun Fest committee meeting and beginning to plan for next year. There's a tremendous amount of work that goes on by the private sector with volunteers to help make the event what it is. But I really want to take just a second and recognize the countless number of city employees that are working right now, will be working their shift tomorrow. They'll be then back out on Fort Henry Drive or wherever there's a Fun Fest event to make sure that it goes off very successfully, and more importantly, the fact that when we are done with the event, that the event has been, the area that it's been held has been cleaned up. But police, fire, public works, Parks and Recreation, and then a countless number of employees that will come in tomorrow morning. They'll work 8 to 5, and then they'll go pick up trash, or they'll work some other aspect of what we do. Fun Fest would not be the success that it is without these folks. And so I want to thank them personally for the amount of time that they're putting in. A lot of people, and we want them to have a great time this week, but there's a lot of folks that they're going to put in a lot of hours come Saturday night about 11 o'clock. So appreciate them tremendously.
You took one of the things I was going to talk about, and all I can do is echo that the board appreciates what they did. I'm
Absolutely.
looking at our police and fire chief. Your guys always have a smile on their face, even throughout Fun Fest and Public Works, and it's a great effort. And I know they'll finish up the next few days in good style. I'm going to start tonight with Paul Montgomery.
Okay, I want to say I'm actually appreciative, pleased that we recognize Bruce Shine tonight, and I know that he was a friend to all of us. He was a friend to all of us, and he made great contributions, and I'm glad that we recognize Betsy Knight and his son. So thank you for whoever put that together. I think that was very well done. The other thing is, going back to last night, to echo the presentation that we got from the Parks and Rec, well done. The vision that they've cast, the possibilities of what's possible for the city and the parks area in Kingsport was well done. So I'm appreciative of the work there, and hopefully that over time we'll be able to put some of the plans into action. That's it.
Okay, and Bruce Shine was a mentor to our city attorney, and I know you learned a lot from him and how to do things. Tommy?
I'd just like to second everything that Paul had to say. Plus, I was sneaking around looking on my tablet here, and I saw where our fellow James Phillips, he sent a little note to us saying we all look good in our shirts.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure we all got that.
He's watching us on his
Yeah.
cell phone or something.
Yeah,
isn't
he is.
Anything
Okay.
else?
That's it, buddy.
The Axemen are doing real well still.
Yes,
Still in
they
first
are.
place. All right, Daryl?
The city manager kind of set me up a little bit with a good segue here with youth sports. Just a shout out to Visit Kingsport. And so really in the past 3.5 months, just the number of things that they've been involved in. I'll just read just a few of these, but the AAU Elementary National Championships, AAU Softball Conference Championships, the AAC Baseball Championships, NAIA Baseball Opening Round of the World Series, USSSA Baseball Super Regional. That was 100 teams that come here to play baseball. Of course, we had Racks by the Tracks, which was a big draw to several thousand people. GTO Association, that was more than 1,300 rooms with an economic impact of about $850,000 right there. We had Red, White, and Boom at just right during that same time. That was between 18 and 20-some thousand people just right down the main corridor. We also had the USSSA Baseball World Series. That was another 50 teams. We had the Falcon Car Show this weekend, which was
Yeah, I went by and tried to talk several of them into moving to Kingsport.
which that was pretty neat. We've had Twilight Alive concerts and, of course, Fun Fest. And now I know the vice mayor, she tried to go up last night and apply, I think, for the Mrs. Miss International pageant. So she was up there and kicked that off.
Make me look like a wet chicken. Don't let me in.
But the economic impact of just the ones that I read here to our city was between $8 and $10 million. And that come from Judd today. I asked him just what the economic impact for these items here. So
Great information.
that does not include move to Kingsport, which the last month was 100 new families that moved to Kingsport as
In
well.
June,
So,
yeah.
In June.
Is that
So
it?
That's it.
Thank
So
you.
appreciate,
Good stuff.
visit.
Betsy?
Just a couple of things. Last night, we had a discussion about the employee physical wellness program, and while I do have some concerns about the cost of it, I do see merit in the program, and I'm very confident in our HR department and Tyra that's going to oversee it this year. So thank you for doing that. Like Paul said, the presentation last night from the Parks and Rec, the picture they put up at the very beginning of our city with the river, and I'd never seen that picture, and that like a picture's worth 1,000 words, to really realize how our city is built around the river. It was that was very impactful to me. We talked about Fun Fest, and the street fair was this past Saturday. And I think I was down there, I got down there at 8, and I think it started at 10 just to help set up. And this couple came walking down the street, and there were, the chalk painters were chalk art were drawing on the sidewalks, and the people were just standing around or sitting, watching some of the artists do their sidewalk chalk. And this couple came up to me and said, "What's everybody there looking at and waiting for?" And I said, "Well, it's the street fair." And they had just moved here from California. He was retired law enforcement, and they moved. They live in Ridgefields, and I said, "What? Tell me how you ended up in Kingsport." And they said, "Well, a lot of their friends that were moving to this part of the country, and they said they visited Kingsport and fell in love with it and bought a home over in Ridgefield." So, but I was telling him about the street fair, and this was about 8:30, I guess, and it looked like they were out for their morning walk. And so about 10:30 or 11, I ran into them again, and they had gone home and changed, I guess, and came back and were talking about, they said, "I can't believe, and they had missed the parade the night before, because I told them that we had a parade downtown and some of the things to go check out." So I think sometimes we forget when we're involved with Kingsport, or we've been to these Fun Fest all these years, that to see it through a newcomer's eyes in just our area and where we live, through someone that's moved here from another part of the country. Because I said, "Well, I've heard, that there's a lot going on out there." He said, "And where you came from?" He said, "Well, whatever you heard," he said, "multiply it by 100 and you'll have what's going on out there." So, and they love it here. So it was very good to see someone come and enjoy our city and enjoy what we have going on. And like I said, sometimes I take it for granted, and we don't need to do that. Thank you. That's it.
And Betsy, you know, you're talking about the folks from California. Daryl mentioned we had a significant number of people move to us in June. The top donor state was California.
Well, this guy's a law enforcement, and he was, he said, I had to get out. He retired and moved here. Another thing, I have my grandchildren here, and and so we visited 3 different playgrounds today. So, I don't think, like I said, if you don't have that age group around you, you don't realize. We went to Johnson and to Brickyard and to the Carousel playground today. So, my grandchildren come from Hilton Head, and when you think of Hilton Head or that area, Bluffton area, you think that all the amenities they have there, but they are so impressed with what we have here. When they come here, it's so, I think if you don't have that age group, or if you, like I said earlier, you have blinders on and you just do what you always do, but when you have grandchildren around, it kind of opens your eyes to some of the fun things we do have here and some of the things that are out there to enjoy.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Vice Mayor.
I think a lot has been said, and I'll tap on a little bit of all of it. Obviously, I love Fun Fest, and I think that there's so many different things for all age groups, but I want to really thank Public Works, because when we do the concert Saturday night, and you look at the way when everybody exits, and it looks at midnight on Saturday, and then at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, you can't tell we had a festival.
Right.
And that's a lot of
Long
great
day,
work.
late night.
And a lot of volunteers, but, that's a lot of city workers that put in a lot of overtime and just do a great job and are so nice to all the people, because you do hear more good comments about the city workers during Fun Fest, that just, with the Crazy 8 run and all the things that they participate in, police and fire there all the time, and are friendly and helpful, and people really appreciate that, because like Betsy said, that's not the way they are in all areas of our country. And I will say I was at early voting, because there is a county election going on with everybody in the city can vote for, and it is important to vote. But I was at early voting, and a gentleman came up and complimented the skateboard park and said that, he is from here. He has skateboarded since he was a little kid and has skateboarded across the country. And he said, I cannot believe we have this park in Kingsport, Tennessee. He said it's by far the best park in skateboard park in Tennessee. But he said it is just, you all don't realize the level for skateboarders. He said every time he's out there, there's someone new, which not my peer group here. We're not out there, but glad to have that is, really successful and doing great. And, there is a lot going on right now in Kingsport, and everybody's doing a great job with it. And, I think we went through a lot of agenda items talking about the growth and trying to get new areas, and there are so many people that do want to move here. And when I've had people say, how do you not build houses that are just not completely glass to take advantage of this view? And it's like, well, we see it every day. I mean, we don't think of it the way outsiders do, and we're getting a lot more outsiders. And I did welcome the Mrs. International pageant last night over at the Marriott, and they're completely full between the pageant, Fun Fest.
2-week event.
But the pageant, the Fun Fest, the car show, they said, anybody coming to Kingsport right now, it's hard to find a hotel room. We do have so many people coming in for these different events, and so many people don't even know, all the things Daryl talked about, all the different sporting events. I mean, people have no idea how many people are staying in our hotels.
Yeah, our new Fairfield Inn's been open for 2 months now. We needed it.
Yeah, and I think it's been full the entire time. I mean, it's just, I picked up somebody that was looking at this area, and they said that, every hotel was full, and they were there, and that they did a great job and all. But instead, it's just, we're very, very blessed, and a lot's going on with Fun Fest, and I think the outdoor movie is tomorrow night. Is that right, Daryl? Yeah, and then we've got the concerts for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Breakfast with the Balloons, of course, is my absolute favorite. So hopefully everybody will get out and do everything.
Miss Kingsport, Miss Sullivan County told me they'd be out there for the balloons.
Everybody should be out there for the balloons. That is, the greatest thing ever. So, and I'm glad that we've got goats back, and I'm glad that we get them free for a year, because I think that's incredibly nice of him to do, because I like being, I like being economically friendly, all that good stuff. And they're cute. Cute goes a long way, so, but that's all I think I have. Oh, no, actually, and, sorry, after we get through Fun Fest, the concerts in Allendale are in August. They're the free concerts Thursday nights in Allendale.
4 Thursday nights in a row.
4 Thursday nights in a row. I think Carson Peters is first.
Is first.
Yeah, and it's Thursday nights. They start at 7 and go to 9. You take, your picnic basket, your chairs, your blanket. There will be food trucks. There'll be a beer truck. And,
Right.
it is a great time
It
just for
is.
family fun to go just hang out with everybody and enjoy the music at the amphitheater.
Yeah.
So plug for Allendale.
Right, right.
Now I'm through.
She's very modest. She's the chairwoman for the Friends of Allendale, or president, I guess.
Yes, if I forgot, I'd get in a lot of trouble. I have to mention that next time, too.
Okay, thanks. Early voting does go from, it's going on right now, except on Sundays. It ends on the 30th of July at the Civic Auditorium, and the election is the 4th of August. And we've said a lot about Fun Fest, but if you don't have a schedule, all you got to do is go on the internet and see funfest.net, and you can see the schedule, and there's still a lot of stuff to happen. Yeah, and they publish it in the paper every day. That's right, Tommy. Okay. There is a lot going on. The city manager, I very much appreciate, he handed all of us a full page, a list of items that demonstrate economic activity occurring in the city. For instance, someone's renovating this building downtown, or a small business is moving in at so-and-so place. And it's a whole page of these type of activities, and it shows that the economic activity is really picking up and continuing, and that's a good thing for all of us. And the move to Kingsport's going real well. And our sales tax is, our merchants collect the sales tax, and then they send it on to the state, and the state further distributes it down. So there's a little bit of a lag between when a month ends and when we get the report of that month. So we just recently got the sales tax collection information for May 2022, and it was higher than May last year, and it was higher than what our projection, and that's a good thing. And if we can get inflation to kind of calm down, it'll be even better thing. That's about all I've got today. I'm just happy to participate in Fun Fest events. And so we've come to the part in our proceedings where citizens can speak on issue-oriented items. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. Are there any citizens that wish to come forward and speak to us tonight? Come on up, sir. And we ask for your name and address so that if you bring up something that maybe we need to follow up on, we can get a hold of you.
Kingsport. And I'm here just on a nature that we live on a road that's pretty small. We have a lot of children in the neighborhood. I've lived there for almost 2 years. I moved here from Oregon. I was going to say I do love it here, and I planned on just traveling through here and staying here very shortly, and we've decided to stay here permanently. We love it, but the issue we're having, and I've asked the police if they could patrol more often. We're getting a lot of very high-speed cars going through there. If I'm out in the yard playing with the kids or working on something, it seems like I would say more than half the cars going through there are, and I'm guessing, are going probably over 50 miles an hour on that road. And we have little kids that play in our front yard and neighbor kids that come back and forth. And I'm just concerned as a citizen and as a parent. And I wanted to bring that before you guys and see if there's something that we can do to try to help that out. Like I said, I have called the police and asked, hey, can we please, maybe patrol once in a while to try to slow the traffic down.
Well, the police chief is sitting behind you. And
Taking notes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I'm asking whatever we can do. I mean, if we could put speed bumps in eventually, if it's an option, or, like I said, even if patrol's an option, I would love.
Mr. McReynolds, who presented to us earlier, he can talk to you about speed bumps, how that comes about. There's a process for that, but,
Okay.
and of course, the chief is there.
Yeah, okay, wonderful.
Is that it?
That's all I have. Thank you very much for hearing me.
Thank
tonight.
you. We appreciate you moving here.
Thank you, and I'm loving it, and I gotta say, it's a beautiful city. I come from Oregon, Western Oregon, and it's a beautiful place, but I'm in love here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other citizens that wish to approach the board? Well, Ms. Kingsport, thank you for staying through the whole thing. That wasn't a requirement, but, you know, you may.
Till the whole thing to tell you that, though.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We're adjourned.
Thank you for joining us tonight for the Kingsport BMA meeting. This program has been a production of the City of Kingsport in cooperation with Milligan Productions, Milligan University, and Charter Communications. For more information, visit kingsporttn.gov.